Welcome back to Promo Show's Holiday Gift Show. I am Lori here with Andrea.
Hello.
And we're just having so much fun
We
today. It's been a very eventful day. We started off this morning with Cliff Quicksell, and then we had Jolie Goodson. We have another special guest coming up for you shortly. But before we do, I just wanted to go over a couple of housekeeping things. If you are someone who is hoping to get a few extra entries into the self-promo giveaway drawing at the end of the show, you only have until 3:30 p.m. Eastern, so you get about another half hour. And all you have to do is go into the booths and chat with the suppliers. We're tracking who's entering booths, so if you go in, you get extra entries on the wheel. And we have some great, what should we say, 9?
Yes.
We're going to be drawing 9 names. You can only win once. So, and if you go in and chat with suppliers, you get extra entries. So, good chance of winning. All right. So what do we have coming up?
We have Karen Rich next. I'm so excited about this one. So she's with Enrich Your Life, certified life coach, offers coaching for individuals and small groups, customized workshops, and she developed an emotional wellness program that's about confidence, resilience, diversity, decreasing anxiety, and creating a life you love. I mean, who doesn't want that? Love it. Me too. I'm really excited. Well, welcome, Karen.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And I have to say, I don't know if funness is a word, but I feel already less stressed because you guys just exude funness. We're making that word up.
Funness. It's official.
It's official.
Yep, we bring the funness. Right, but we are going to hand the floor over to you, and we will hop on at the end. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Again, thank you for having me. I hope everyone can hear me because there's a little technical difficulties today, but we're working through it and we're not going to stress. That's the whole point, right? So I also feel like you're already thinking about holidays, and that is so impressive to me. And anytime you can think forward and plan and strategize, you're going to alleviate your stress. So you're already winning. So congratulations and kudos to you guys. And I'm sure you all want to thank Promo Corner because they are giving you the gift that keeps on giving. Anytime you can learn how to manage your stress, that's the gift that keeps on giving. So big kudos to you, to Promo Corner. I have some really great tips for you today. A couple of quick things I want to mention before we start the slides. The first one is that, stress is never going to go away, right? So you just manage it. You just handle it with grace. And actually, some stress is good stress. I mean, when we work out, we're stressing our bodies, right? So some stress helps us grow and expand. So if you ever this week feeling stressed, or this tomorrow or today when you get off of this call, just ask yourself, like, oh, wait, this could be what Karen was talking about. This is a good stress. This is actually wonderful that I feel stressed. So there's a little tip for you. We haven't even gotten started yet. So hopefully we'll have lots of really good tips along the way. So another thing that I want to talk about before we start the slide is that, and this is really, really important. This is like the crux of everything about stress. Stress itself is the event or the situation itself is not stressful. It is your perception of that event or situation. So for example, I don't really love going to the dentist. So is that stressful for me? Yes, it is. I know people that love going to the dentist. So is it the dentist that's stressful, or is it our perception of the dentist that's stressful? I love to fly. I have a friend, she can't fly without like 5 martinis. So is flying stressful? No, it's not stressful. It's our perception of flying that is stressful to us. So if our perception is just a belief that we have, and beliefs are just thoughts that we think over time, we can change our thoughts, so we can change our perception, so we can change our stress. So we're actually in charge of all of our stress. So all we have to do is just change our perspective and change our perception of things. So we have the power to change all of our stress. So I don't know if that scares you or excites you, but let's just get into it and wrap up our stress this holiday season. So I've created an acronym for you, and I have to change my hair because I can see myself on the screen and that's stressing me out. So, okay. It starts with self-care. So you see the word stress there, and the very, very first letter is an S for self-care. And I could give a 2-hour workshop on this. I mean, we all know how important self-care is, yet for some reason we can't seem to do it, and there are lots of different reasons why, but unfortunately we don't have time to get into all of those today. But I do think one of the main reasons is that we think it's selfish, and self-care is not selfish. It's almost like, think of it like a bank account, right? And if you give all your money away and you have none for yourself, I mean, how are you going to survive? You have to have some money, right? In order to give it away, you need to have some money. So think of your time and your energy. You can't give it all away to everyone. You have to fill your tank. Okay, let's take 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, you binge watch Netflix all night till 2 a.m. Maybe you drank some wine, maybe you ate some pizza, barely got any sleep. You wake up the next day, you're scurrying out for work, you overslept, you're racing through the traffic, you get to work, and you're dehydrated, your stomach hurts, you're tired, you can't think straight, you didn't eat breakfast, and your boss says, oh, I have this project that I want you to head up. And your immediate thought is like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I don't have time for this. How am I going to get everything done? I have all these deadlines. And it kind of goes to more of a negative place than if you take scenario 2. Maybe you went for a run the night prior, you got your sleep, you got up, you did a meditation in the morning, you got to work 5 minutes early, you got your breakfast, you had your coffee, and then now your boss comes into you and says, hey, I have this project I need you to head off. And you know what? You look at it differently. When your tank is filled, when you're taking care of yourself, whether it's exercise, nutrition, sleep, drinking water, when your tank is filled, you become a better version of yourself and you're able to handle things differently and typically way better, right? So self-care is so important, and over the holidays we forget to do that, or we just don't have quote unquote time to do that. It's so important to make the time to do that. So I won't get into it too much more, but just really, if anything, just make sure you're giving yourself that care that you need. Okay, next slide, the T, thankful. You can't be in 2 places at one time. You can't be in Massachusetts and be in California at the same time, like physically. And it's the same with your state of being. You can't be stressed out and be thankful at the same time. You just can't do it. So if you feel like you're headed into stress, then I want you to try to shift that stress towards more of gratitude. So it looks something like this. Your boss gave you that project that they want you to head up. You have all these deadlines. You got to take your daughter to dance. She has danced 72 times a week. You've got it like, your computer's broken, your dog's limping, like all these crazy things are going on, right? And instead of being like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I don't know how I'm going to get this all done. Oh, great, this is broken. Of course this has happened. How am I supposed to get to? So that instead of doing that, it looks a little more like this. Oh my gosh, I feel so blessed that my boss thinks so highly of me that they're going to give me this project, and they believe in me. I'm heading up this project. And yeah, I have a lot of other deadlines, but you know what? I'm resourceful, I'm competent, I'm organized, I'm ready, I can handle this. This is going to lead to good things. You know what? I have to take my daughter to dance, but that's okay because you know what? She loves it and she's healthy enough to dance and I'm healthy enough to drive her there. And you see the difference in the states of being? So whenever you're feeling stressed, try to just feel gratitude. And I know that's a buzzword. Everyone's like gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. But that's because if for anybody that likes a good return on investment, this is a fantastic return on investment. Being in gratitude changes your brain. It can get you from one state to another and quickly like that. So it doesn't take anything either. It takes like 2 seconds. Such a good return on investment. I will give you this little tip before we leave the T screen. You can't just say, oh, I'm grateful. Oh, I'm thankful. You have to feel it, right? So for example, you say, what are you grateful for? And maybe you say, promo corner. And then that's a very general thing to be grateful for. So then you need to go a little deeper and you say, what about promo corner am I grateful for? And then you say, well, you know, I really appreciate that they did this managing stress during the holidays because every year I get so stressed out and I don't know what to do. And it's really helpful to me. That's great. Now you got to go a step further. What does that make you feel like? Well, it makes me feel valued. It makes me feel more settled. It makes me feel more in control. It makes me feel empowered. So now we're starting to feel differently. And that's when the magic happens. When you can feel thankful. So you want to state what you're thankful for. And it's okay if it's general. But then you want to get a little more specific and say like, well, what about that am I thankful for? And then that's when the magic happens. The third step, when you feel it. What about it? How does it make you feel? So just remember that. That's super important. And if you have any takeaway from today's tips, that would probably be my biggest takeaway because it is so easy to do. You can do it while you're driving, right? Okay. Next slide. I love that. I love that slide. I love that gratitude. It's such an easy thing to do. Release. Okay. A few years ago, when my kids were little, I used to do all these fun Christmas cards. And every year we had something different and fun and unique and creative. And it started to become stressful for me. So I had to just stop doing them. And I love Christmas cards. I love receiving them. And yeah, the first couple of years I felt a little guilty. I've let go of that guilt too. I've let go of all of it. And this year, I want you to really focus on releasing anything that doesn't serve you. So the tricky thing about this is, like, let's go with the boss. The boss came in and the boss said, I really need you to head this project up. Well, you can't release that. You have to do that, right? So what you can do, and if you want to write this down, if you have a pen and paper, these are really great words to live by. And it's release resistance to find relief. And I just did a really good job with all the words. A lot of R words. So release resistance to find relief. So whatever that looks like, you know, maybe you get someone else to drive your child to dance. Maybe you ask your boss, hey, can I come and work earlier? Can I come at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. to work before everyone else gets there so I'm not as distracted? What can you do to release that resistance? My Christmas cards. Well, what about it is stressful? Well, is it the time that it takes? Hey, maybe you can do Christmas cards in July. That's a way to release resistance. Hey, is it the money that's the stressful part? Maybe you can email all your Christmas cards. That's a way to release resistance. What you're looking to do is release the resistance to find relief. Because resistance equals exhaustion, and that equals stress. So if you think about resistance, you're like, Karen, what do you mean by resistance? Think trying to motivate yourself to do something, if you dread something, willpower, all of that is resistance towards something. So if you can find a way to just release some of it, if you can't release the whole thing, just find a way to make it a little bit easier for you, because then your life will be a little bit easier and a little less stressful. And there's always a way to release some relief. Okay, E, next slide, E, eat the frog. So for those of you who don't know what eat the frog means, it means do the thing that you dread the most first. So for example, that big project that we just talked about, you can't release that, right? So what you do is you say, okay, let me think about what about this project is so stressful. And then you get it done. You do it. You get it done, and then the rest of your day is so much better, right? And maybe you can even find a way, if you start to think about, hey, what about this is stressful? Well, I have to have a really tough conversation with someone. Okay, well, maybe you role play with someone to help release that resistance and help alleviate some of the stress. You know, what can you do to find a way to give yourself some relief, right? And definitely you want to do all the things that you dread the most. Get it done. Get it off your list. And do you know what else? A lot of times when we do it, it's not as bad as we even thought it was going to be. So, and just a little quick tip, because I know we have to keep moving on, but procrastination is actually an emotional response to something. So it doesn't really have anything to do with time management or any of that. It's more about you're dreading something for a particular reason because you think it's going to bring you some kind of negativity, whether it's boredom or self-esteem or a feeling of helplessness. Whatever it is, it's an emotional response. So if you are a procrastinator, you might want to dig a little deeper and see if you can figure out why you're procrastinating. So I know I wish we had more time, but okay, S. This one's a long one. There are a lot of S's in stress, lucky for me. Stress awareness, systems, and schedules. If people are probably like, well, yeah, Karen, I know I'm aware that I have stress. And that's actually not exactly what I'm talking about. But a lot of times we go really general. So we'll say, so, what are you stressed about? And you'll say, work. But you can't really fix something if you don't know exactly what it is that you're trying to work on. So again, you need to go a little bit deeper. So let's just make up a scenario. What are you stressed about? Work. Well, what about work? Well, I feel really overwhelmed because I have so many things to do and I don't even know where to start. Okay, great. Now we're aware of what is stressing you out. Now we can find solutions. See all the S's there? Stress awareness. Now we can find solutions by setting up systems and schedules. I'm going to say that again. It's like a tongue twister. Now we're aware of the stress, so we can find solutions by setting up systems and schedules. So I'm going to give you a quick little example. So we just did the example. Now we're going to find a solution. Okay, you're overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. There are lots of different solutions, and you need to find which one works best for you. But you can make a master list, and then of all the things you have to do, and then this is the key. You plug them into your schedule, and you 9 to 9:30, I'm going to do this. Tuesday, 10 to 10:15, I'm going to do this. And then you're able to see the bigger picture of things, and I would highly recommend a paper calendar, not your electronic one, because it's way easier to see the bigger picture. I think I'm running out of time. Okay, I'll go to the next S. Strengths. We are all born with strengths innately. They come easily to us. Sometimes we focus on our weaknesses. I'm not really sure why. But guys, this is the time to focus on your strengths. When you're feeling stressed, some of your strengths can pull you out of that stress. So, for example, crabby customers, right? That's something that would stress anybody out. Well, maybe you're really good at humor, so that can pull you out. Stressful things, maybe you lose things. but maybe you're really good at strategizing, so you can set up strategies to help you not lose things. So maybe, the broadcast today, your homework is just think of some of your strengths that you have that can really help you this year pull yourself out of stress. So maybe you're a planner, maybe you have the ability to say no, maybe you don't need a lot of sleep, maybe you have funness exuding off of you, maybe you're able to stay present, maybe you're creative, resourceful, you have a good memory, you're logical. Whatever it is, you have strengths, and those will help bring you out of stressful situations. But most importantly, please know that it's your perception. So if you take anything away from this session, please remember the way that you're viewing it. And if you can switch your mindset to view it differently, if you can fuel your tank so that your brain works better so you can view it differently, I promise you, you will not feel as stressed as if you hadn't have done that. And I think a fun thing to do this year, if you are stressed, would be to write that stress down on a piece of paper. And I have another, actually, if you want to move to the next slide, if you want to take a picture of this slide, it can be a reminder to you whenever you're feeling stressed, you go in there and you say, okay, what are some tips that I can do to help me alleviate and manage some of the stress? Go through the tips, write down the thing that made you stressed in the first place, put it in a box, wrap it up. Don't give it away. Don't give your stress away this year. Don't give it to anybody else, but wrap it up and throw it away and let it go for the rest of your life. So I hope that you're able to use some of these tips. I hope you enjoy every minute of the holiday. And remember, it's all your perspective. It's not really stressful. You are in charge. You're in control of your stress. So wrap it up. And we're wrapping this up.
Thank you so much,
That was
Karen.
awesome.
That was awesome. I love that it's your perspective.
Yes, I love, you know what else? I released my Christmas cards last Christmas for one Christmas after 20 years. And it was a huge, I was upset at first, but I did it. And I didn't look, now I'll do them this year, but it felt good to get rid of it last year.
Yeah.
I just wasn't doing it.
I think a really great thing to say is like, is this serving me? Right? It's always
Right.
ask yourself, is this serving me? Because here's the thing. If you felt so stressed out because you decided to give up your Christmas cards, then it's not serving you.
Right.
Right? You can only release it if you truly are releasing it.
Oh, I
Right?
released it. I released it.
So like,
Good.
coming back this year.
I don't know. I'm feeling more energy this year, so I'm bringing it back. I might bring it back, but last year, you know what? I needed to let it go. So I did.
Perfect. That's awesome.
There you go.
So it sounds like you're already doing.
Eat the frog.
No, I never heard that term either. Eat the
Oh, you
frog.
haven't? There's a
No.
book on it. I wish I could remember who wrote it, but yeah. It just changes your life. It really does. It's a simple,
Makes
simple
sense.
tool.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have it looming over your head the whole time. Like, I gotta do this,
Right.
I gotta do that, I gotta do that. You just do it, you get it done, you don't think about it, then it's done for the rest of the day, and your day gets so much better and easier.
Makes sense.
Excellent. So, Karen, if anybody wants to reach out to you for more information or if they have questions, is there an easy way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so I have a really fun email address, and it's kind of tricky at first, but it's KarenRichYourLife@gmail.com.
Oh,
So like
love
the last two letters of my name, E-N, and Rich Your Life at gmail.com.
awesome.
Perfect.
We will add that to the comments, and if anybody has any questions or wants to reach out for more information, you can do that. So thanks again, Karen.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me, and I think you guys are awesome for doing this for people. It really, truly is a gift.
Thank you
Aw.
so much. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, I
Eat
feel
frog.
I feel less stressed.
I do too.
I don't
Feel as guilty about not sitting my Christmas. I apparently was holding a little guilt about that.
but it's gone.
It's
Throw it away.
all
All right.
right.
So we started the day. Cliff taught everybody how to get ahead of the holidays, and then we had the picks of the week pickers.
Some
who
ideas for
shared
the
some great
holidays.
ideas for holiday gifts, and then we had Jolie Goodson, who was sharing ideas for standing out.
Just being a badass.
Yes, in a crowded market. And then Karen, who is teaching us how to deal with the stress of the holidays. So
Yeah.
great lineup today.
Was a good line.
All right. So we have about 35 minutes. The show floor will remain open. So there is plenty of time to get in and meet with the amazing suppliers that have their booths stocked with people.
And you only have 5 minutes to get in a booth if you haven't yet in order to participate.
if
So
you want
move it.
if you want
yes.
bonus entries.
bonus entries, yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Everybody who attended the show will get one entry.
Yes. So you get an extra one.
But if
But
you
get in
go
there.
if you go into 3 booths, you get 3 bonus
Yeah.
entries.
Nice. That's a deal.
That is the deal. And we have 9 wonderful prizes to give away. So we will be back at 4 p.m. Eastern time to wrap up the show and spin the wheel and give away some prizes. So we'll see you then.